Manuela Estaban Paez Terán, who was known as Tortuguita, was shot and killed by the Georgia State Police, or Patrol, I think they call them. And that was in mid-January. I think it was January 18th. And there was the police story was that Tortuguita had fired on them and they were returning fire. And then there was some like body cam footage that came out that suggested that one of the cops thought that the fire was coming from the cops themselves. It was Matthew Von Johnson, who was the interim director of beloved Community Ministries. And subsequent to that tape coming out, there was an independent audit done. We reported on this yesterday. And the audit, the autopsy, I should say, independent autopsy, showed that Tortuguita was, had their hands up because they were shot through their palms. Their hands were obviously not on a gun. You can't hold a gun like this. Get shot through the thing. Here is their lawyer.
What did we learn from this autopsy? We learned that Manuel died from multiple gunshot wounds. We knew that already. Manuel was shot so many times and by different firearms that the tracks of the bullets running through the body converge and intersect. That means that the same parts of his body were shot by different officers. The autopsy identifies 14 separate gunshot injuries. Manuel was shot in the head through his right eye, in the left upper chest, in the abdomen, in his arms, and in their legs. The hands were all shot up. According to the autopsy, the wounds indicate that Manuel's left arm and hand were raised when Manuel was shot, with the palm facing the front of the body. Manuel's right forearm and right hand were also shot. The gunshot to the head would have killed them instantly, but probably, in the words of the report, not before they were able to raise their hands and arms in front of their body, like that. Manuel's legs were shot with shotgun slugs and probably buckshot, leading to the conclusion that two different shotguns were fired at Manuel before they died. The wounds to the legs are consistent with Manuel having been shot while they were sitting down cross-legged. Manuel was likely shot by individuals, according to the report, standing in front of them relatively close. Manuel was looking death in the face, hands raised when killed.
I mean, the idea, and it's unclear to me whether they had a gun or not, but in the event that they did have a gun, the idea that someone is shooting a gun from a cross-legged position in an offensive manner is just absurd. It's just absurd.
Yeah. It just is another reminder that police in this country are not constructed to protect and serve the people. They're there to protect and serve property and establish power and capitalism. Like, that is the role of police. And that's what they were protesting, right?
Yeah, the building of this massive corporate-backed cop city to do urban assault training essentially in Atlanta, in land that was promised to members of the community, or to the community, I should say. You can go back. What was the date of that, Matthew Johnson?
We ran it on January 31st. It was a pre-tape, though.
Okay, so folks can check it out. January 31st of this year, we did an interview on that. You can get more background on the ongoing protests that are in and around Cop City down near Atlanta. But just...
This is going to be a part of like an escalating crackdown on environmental activists. I mean, Standing Rock was one thing, but as environmental racism actually begins to continue, like make itself felt when climate change ramps up, there's going to be more of these demonstrations and more police action and murders of water protectors, climate protesters in general.
We got to follow up on the East Palestine Aaron Brockovich stuff too. Actually, that reminds me of defining them as terrorists and stuff like that.
Right.